Hi ladies, it's Kristen from naturalbirthandbabycare.com, and I was just sitting and thinking about people saying birth is just natural, and that's not something that I say to moms, even though I'm really passionate about natural birth, even though I've had all 8 of my kids naturally. They say that because they want you to realize birth is natural, you need to believe in your body, just do what your body says, and it's kind of pushback from medicalized birth. But I don't think that it's a good place to start, and here's why. Let me talk to you about this. So you could probably agree right off the bat with this statement that we shouldn't just rely on luck. Don't rely on luck. If you were to hear a mom say, oh, I'm just gonna hope for a natural birth, and I'm not gonna do anything to prepare or anything, I'm just gonna take my chances, you would probably tell her that's not a good idea. When we tell moms birth is just natural, just trust your body, you'll be fine, it's essentially saying it's just luck. It's two sides of the same coin because you're just leaving things up to luck. I do, however, believe that there are many steps that you can take so that when you get to your birthing time, birth feels much more natural. With my first few babies, I did okay during labor and I managed to get through the pushing stages, but I didn't feel like things were natural the way that people had told me they would be. They felt difficult and I worried, especially during the pushing stages, maybe my body isn't working right. Why didn't it feel natural? It wasn't until I had had a few babies that I realized that intentional preparation could go a long way. And that intentional preparation was more than just reading. Think about it. Think about your favorite athlete. What does she have to do to get ready? Let's say she's a runner. Running is natural. She's probably been doing it since she was a little kid. But she's done something to get ready to run. And she's done more than just decided, I want to be a runner and I want to wear this pair of shoes. And she's done more than just saying, I read a few books on running and then go out to run a marathon with the shoes and with the books. Would she be prepared? She would not be prepared. However, that's what we seem to think when we read a book about birth being just natural and we make a few choices about where we're going to give birth and who our attendant is going to be. Sometimes people make it sound like that's enough, but that is not enough. Just like that female athlete, she trains, she prepares, she gets ready. And on some levels, birth is an endurance event. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you because what I want the most for you is for you to have a beautiful, sacred, natural birth experience. And I know that intentional preparation goes a long way. Think about the holidays. Sometimes holidays can be super stressful, but most of us want the holidays to be a special time for our family. And you probably know that when you think about it in advance, when you make choices, when you make plans, when you query other people on how they make nice holiday celebrations, and then you take the steps to prepare, it's much more likely that you're going to have that magical holiday that you want or that you want to give your kids. Again, birth and creating that sacred birthing experience and creating that experience where you can feel free to let go, to move into your body, and to have a good experience is preparation. So there's choice, there's hopes, there's dreams, but there's also the practical preparation. And some of that preparation is also visualizing and thinking through everything that you want. But believe that when you prepare on a practical level, what you do is open the space and honor your body. And that preparation is drawn from the collective wisdom of ages and ages of women birthing. So what you're really doing is you're honoring your sisters throughout time and the wisdom that they have brought to you through birth skills, through understanding the physiology of birth and how that impacts natural birth. So by getting that information and then practicing those skills, you're tapping into that collective sisterhood, and that becomes part of the instinct that you use to birth your baby, and hopefully that we go forward to the next generation for our daughters and their daughters and their daughters, bringing more and more beauty to birth and bringing birth back to where it belongs, which is to women, which is to this sacred, beautiful, peaceful experience. But we need to do it by taking the practical steps to get ready. And remember too, we don't have a lot of that wisdom that women who were living with other women who expected to have natural births would have passed on to each other. So what we need to do is gain that wisdom, gain those skills, and then those things are with you when it's time to birth your baby and you have that beautiful birth experience.